What is up, guys? My name is Mr. Alaska, and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a talkthrough of the Battle for Tarir medal event, recently released in Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. You can find it in Auric Basin. It's a map-wide meta event, and there's people will spam on LFG when they're looking for people to do it. And yeah, you complete all the events beforehand, and then you get an attempt to defend the city and enter the battle, as we can see in the footage. So, in this footage, I'm participating in the west side, and each side has its own different mechanic. As the event starts, you break through these vines, simple DPS, complete the event, and then you rush forward and you can teleport below, entering the arena. Okay, so I'm entering the arena now. And yeah, this is West's mechanic. So I've just been turned into a mushroom. And these mushrooms must now run to the Octovine, the boss, that's attached itself to the gate, and strip it of 15 stacks. Now this is event wide. Each Octovine has 15 stacks, and all of these stacks can be stripped in a different way depending on the side you're on. So yeah, West has people turn into mushrooms, and then they have a skill 1, on the bar, to blow themselves up, and this will remove 1 to 2 stacks. The mushrooms can only go in 1 at a time, otherwise this results in the AoE blowing up the other people around them, wasting their mushroom, then they have to run back and be transformed again. And as you can see, I run along the right side and jump along the wall and glide down. And yes, you are able to glide in mushroom form. They have their own special gliders. And so yeah, this is the easiest path I've found, and is much easier than running through the middle. The left side also works, people do that, but I just find the right easier. You can jump up on the wall. Skill 2 in mushroom form is a giant leap, and you're then able to glide from there. You can also dodge while in mushroom form. And there's a speed boost mushroom on this side, so if you've got that mastery, it does help. Okay. There are also 3 other sides, so I'll explain theirs now. East probably has the easiest job. It involves a lot of gliding. They have bombs they can pick up, like kits they can pick up. And then there are updrafts, so updraft mastery is required for East, or does help. And then whilst gliding, they can launch these bombs, and this removes stacks. So East is generally the easiest. As we can see now, they've already started their DPS burn phase. And so yeah, once you remove 15 stacks, you enter a burn phase. Trying to get guildies in here. We were a little bit underpopulated to begin with, but had people get in toward the start. And so yes, this is a successful pug map I joined. I did get a few guildies in, but it was generally led by people that volunteered, and we taxed in a lot of people through LFG. And yeah, I just want to show that this event is possible just through LFG commanding. This specific event, we cut it a little close. There was a lack of communication, and North popped their final burn phase early, starting the 2-minute countdown before they regen, and South got it in the last... South, who was lagging behind, got it in the last second of that. So yeah, East you drop bombs. Simple. And yeah, remove the 15 stacks and initiate a burn phase. South probably has the hardest job, or is the side that tends to struggle the most, is lagging behind everyone. As we can see in the footage, they haven't even entered their first burn phase. I think they were having trouble. But South involves you have to use CC to push these pods or bombs along the path to the Octovine, and then yeah, once it hits the Octovine, it'll blow up, and that'll remove a stack. Yeah, they didn't have trouble because it's hard to coordinate CC, I suppose. And North is fairly simple as well. You pick up these kits that have 2 forms. They can either spray, or you can convert them into turrets to remove stacks to initiate a burn phase. So none of it's really too hard. People are just still struggling with South at the moment. Although they are, as we can see in the footage now, they are burning quite fast. There is also a mechanic to help with all of these, and that is spawning armors. These should be visible in the footage. Yep, there's one. So the entering an armor changes your bar, and it gives you new skills. It gives you a heal that can also res downed players. It gives you a hard CC that does damage also and is a push, and so it's good for pushing mobs and other things as well. It does there's a freeze on there that can help when fighting mobs. But yeah, people mostly like it for the push. So the armors can aid at each meta event. Like in this event here, West, generally if it's an organized run, we get the armors to push all the mobs to the center so the mushrooms can run around the sides. At South, the armors can push them away from the middle path, so it's simple to CC. You can simply CC the pods straight through, and the pods will be blown up by trigger blossoms. So yeah, the armors can create a path for them and push the trigger blossoms out of the way. East, they're not generally taken, they're not used, they're not necessary because people can just glide above, launch their bombs, and then glide back down. And North, they're handy for keeping things clear. In order to get the armors, you must complete the events beforehand, before the event. And that is you must capture each of the outposts, and then at each outpost are 3 pylons, and each pylon has its own event to help the exalted sages activate it. And yeah, every time by activating a pylon, you get 3 golden armors, and you can then bid for them at an event at each outpost. Well, not bidding is the West event. Each outpost has its own event. Like North, there's a soccer sort of challenge where you have to kick mushrooms into a king, and the first person to do that 3 times wins the armor for that challenge. So yeah, we're progressing nicely here. East, as we can see, is doing the best. My side, West, is lagging a little bit. We have 1 layer of slime protection left. And yep, someone's got that. And as we can see here, 2 mushrooms are running at the same time, blowing each other up. But we only had 1 stack anyway, so it's okay. So this initiates our burn phase. We're actually coming last at the moment. And yeah, this event is entirely coordinatable by pugs and just LFG commanding. Although I have been running it with my guild, and we have been organising runs and getting better times. But as time progresses, everyone will learn it, and it'll become easy, just as the Silver Wastes did. It's best to run Zerk gear, I suppose, to help with the DPS, although that can be a little bit hard, because the mobs do hit, it is easy to die. They do hit hard. There are knockdowns, so prepare with stun breaks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not too hard of an event. I think just as people learn, it'll get easier over time. And then once, the tactic is that you DPS each Octovine till it's low. As we can see, East has just gotten theirs low. So in map chat, they've been called to stop. And then they wait for everyone else to catch up. Because once you defeat your Octovine, everyone else has 2 minutes to defeat theirs. Otherwise, they regen, and then the event is almost impossible to win, if not impossible. So we're about halfway, everyone's halfway, East are finished. And generally, once they're all ready for the final burn, you let South go first, as theirs is the hardest. And everyone else has got to be ready with, most of their layers of slime protection removed. So at West here, we'll get it down to 3 or 4 maybe. And then we can just quickly pop that burn phase and finish it off. The rewards for the event are pretty solid. If you don't win, well, at the end of the event, you gain access to the chests below the city. And if you don't win, you gain access to just normal and great ones. And if you win, you have access to 4 or 5 grand chests with better loot in them, such as auric ingots, auric slivers, and the ascended auric materials, auric dusts, I think, and these can be used to create the auric weapons that you can buy the cores from in the middle of the city from the Exalted Vendor. So you can see I'm getting hit pretty hard here. I popped a rebound. That was used. And yeah, the event is completable in about 13 or 14 minutes. It shouldn't take too long. You get 18 minutes to do it. And if you are struggling and you get to that final 2 minutes, it's best to just pop a burn phase and go and hope that everyone else can catch up. So as South is the one that struggles, it's generally best for people with good CCs to go down South. So Staff Elementalists have 3 on air, a knockback. Rangers have a knockback on their longbow. But in my experience, I've generally seen South and West struggle the most. And West just because people don't take turns with their mushrooms and don't go one at a time. There might be one stack left and someone's going to run back and grab the mushroom. And I definitely think this path that I'm on now is the safest. And you can even wait up there to avoid AoEs from the trigger blossoms. So we're getting close to the end, everyone's getting it down. So as we get down more, it's time to start coordinating and organising your final burns and getting it ready. It's good to talk as well and call when a burn phase is about to be popped because some people are running back and from depending on the mechanic. So at West it's best to have everyone close. You don't have a particularly long duration to burn. And so people can be back at shrooms and it could be ready for a burn phase. So I'm waiting here now. We have 2 layers of slime protection left. Now it's vulnerable, so we'll begin our burn. So I'm on a standard DPS Star Belly build. I have taken Tempest over water because I'm having fun with Fire Overload. And I don't mind Rebound, it's good for survivability. Okay, we've stopped, so we're burning a little bit fast here. You can see everyone's yelling stop. So that's a little bit close for comfort. We did not need to go that low, and that is a little bit dangerous. Map chat scolding us as I speak, telling us to stop. So now we're waiting on South and North, because East can easily burn that in one phase. South are doing well. So now we have 15 layers of slime protection left, and we're going to just take that down so we can easily pop a burn phase when we're ready, after we give South the all clear. In this particular run, South didn't give the all clear, and we actually got it in the final second of the regen, the 2 minutes to regen, as North, there was a lack of miscommunication and North popped theirs. Will be obvious soon. I did not just press 1 instead of 2 to jump, getting rid of my mushroom. We'll turn a blind eye to that. Overall, it's a pretty fun event. I enjoy coming to West and doing the mushroom running. It tends to struggle a little bit, so it's good to have people that know what they're doing and teach others that are there. I also go to South as well to try and teach people, because that is one of the hardest. So right about now, everyone is ready to burn except South. South probably have a little bit too much. So what they're going to do is they're going to initiate a small burn and get close. So then everyone can initiate a burn phase and finish off together within the 2 minute time period. So before the battle begins, it's good to be waiting at the gates and getting numbers sorted. Like you want 10 to 15 people in each event and a commander if you can to make calls when to burn, when to stop if you need to stop. And to organise armors as well. So as you can see here, we're all waiting for South. They've gotten theirs extremely close now, but not quite finished it off. So we're going to wait for them to initiate another burn phase. Well, we should, but this is where, as we will see soon, North begins burning right now, which is not supposed to happen. No one realised. No one called them out. And we were lucky to still succeed the event from here. North Octavine has been defeated. So, West and East, we just burn ours. There's nothing we can do. We've only got 2 minutes. And meanwhile, South are still moving their bombs to try and initiate a burn phase. They had just burned before North did that. And so have quite a few stacks to remove with bombs. And so here we're just waiting around. At this point, everyone thinks the event's lost. No one thinks South can move it in 2 minutes. Get it done in 2 minutes. So yeah, this is a good example of how not to do it. You do want to coordinate and let South go first. But yeah, we do succeed, and I hope that everyone's learned something. I wanted to explain it through because it's not that hard, and people are still failing it. I know it's only been out for a week, but yeah, it's not a hard event. It's easily commandable by anyone who wants to step up to the plate. And yeah, it is easy to taxi people in through LFG, get the events done, light up all the pylons beforehand so you have access to all the armors. And yeah, 30 seconds left. South haven't begun their burn phase yet. So right about now I was getting ready to end the video because I wanted to put a successful run up. And I was a little bit frustrated that I was going to have to record another one. Because it does take time to get all the pylon events done and all the watch post events done. The event, it's also worth noting, does award good XP, as you'll see me when I pop my chest. And there, South got it on the last second. Prepare for map chat, going berserk. And yeah, everyone runs into the middle. It's a cool event. I really enjoy running through it. It's fun with friends who are on different sides and you run through to meet in the middle. Yeah, I pop my chest. There's all my experience. And yeah, thanks guys. Hope you learned something from my Battle for Tarir talk through. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.